What's up everyone, Guy with account 23 back again with the first video I have done in at least over a month. Where have you been? I hear you shout, at least I think that's why you're shouting. Basically, life has happened. I've been working a lot, I've still been watching movies, I just haven't really kind of had the passion to make videos for now. I mean, this is going to be one of the last videos I do this year, because I'm just going to do just a little bit of a break for the rest of the year, then I'll come back strong in 2016, kicking off most likely with my top 20 films of 2015. But yeah, what is this video as well? As you can see from the title, this is a Middle-earth marathon, and what that is very, very simple. I am going to be watching the three films in the Hobbit trilogy and the 3 films in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended editions. I know it's not exactly a marathon, it's going to be split up into different parts. I'm not going to be able to watch kind of each film back to back. I mean, I think even like the most die-hard kind of Lord of the Rings fan or Hobbit fan would struggle to kind of watch each extended film back to back. So I'm just going to be watching 1 film per day. I've got a few days off next week from Tuesday to Friday. We've also got the evening off on Monday. So I'll be watching The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey today. I'm going to be watching The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug on Sunday. I'm going to be watching The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies on Monday. I'll be watching The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring on Tuesday. I'll be watching The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers on Wednesday. And then I'll be watching The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King on the day after that. I can't remember what day I said. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I can do the first 2. Obviously, Battle of the Five Armies isn't even out yet, not till Monday, which is why I won't be able to watch that till Monday. But I'll be picking that up soon. I don't actually have the extended edition for Desolation of Smaug yet, but I've ordered it for tomorrow, so it should be coming tomorrow. So I'll be ready and willing to watch it. But yeah, first up I'll be watching, funnily enough, the first film in the Hobbit trilogy, which is An Unexpected Journey. Now this is the individual edition. I know there is a box set coming out, but obviously with it not coming out already, I can't buy it. But I wouldn't have bought it anyway, because I really like these editions. I will be going into more detail in these kind of editions later on in this video. I don't know how long the video is going to be, but it might be quite a bit. I'm not quite sure. It's not going to be like any like skits or anything. I'm not going to make it into a big thing. I'm just going to be watching the movies and then kind of commenting on what I think of them. I've never seen the extended editions of any of these films, not even the Lord of the Rings films, so all these will be fresh in my mind. I've only watched the kind of the regular edition of this when on Blu-ray, but none of the other ones. So I'll be watching at least the extended editions completely blind. I've never seen them before, so I'm really looking forward to doing this. Yeah, basically I wanted to do this because Battle of the Five Armies is coming out on Monday, and obviously there will now be no more Middle-earth films unless they do like a reboot in like 30 years or something. Why they would do that, I'm not quite sure, but you never know, they may do that. But I don't think that, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. So this is the kind of the definitive versions of the books by J.R.R. Tolkien. So yeah, really looking forward to checking this one. I mean, even just the first one is just over 3 hours. Oh, this is going to be a slog, but it's going to be a worthwhile slog, I do believe. At least I hope so. Yeah, that'll about do. So let's put this sucker in, turn this son of a bitch on, and let's take the first steps on An Unexpected Journey. So it is now Sunday afternoon. Last night I watched The Hobbit Unexpected Journey extended version. Now I know a lot of people don't like this film as much as the other 2. They'd feel that it is a bit too slow, and I do agree with that to a point. I mean, it takes about 45 minutes before they even leave the Shire. But I quite like that first 45 minutes because it gives you a bit of kind of the funner side to Middle-earth, which you don't, apart from kind of Fellowship of the Ring, you don't really see in the Rings trilogy. Which I really like. Like I say, it's just kind of the more, I quite actually like the slower parts to a point, but I do agree that it is a little bit slow. As regards to the kind of extended edition, not a lot of kind of major kind of extra scenes. There are at least nothing that kind of adds that much more to the story. There's a couple of extended bits in the kind of the meeting scene in Rivendell. There's also some stuff with the Troll King and everything like that, the Goblin King. yeah, Goblin King, I think it was. Kind of a couple of extra songs in there, which were nice little additions. But again, I do know why they kind of cut it out of the theatrical film. But yeah, you've got Martin Freeman as Bilbo. You've got obviously Ian McKellen as Gandalf, and you've got people like Graham McTavish, Ken Stott as the dwarves. Obviously, the main story being that Thorin Oakenshield, Richard Armitage, basically his father was driven mad with power, and basically the head no, it's not Goblin, is it? The head orc, Azog, basically beheaded his father and kind of took over his homeland, and it's basically the story is Oakenshield trying to claim back his land and kind of and return to the home they once had. It's an interesting plot. I do like the story. But yeah, it's just fun. It's great action in it. I mean, I think I liked it more when I saw it in the cinema than I did now. Again, maybe that's down to the fact that it's longer, so it slowed down quite a bit at some points. But I still really liked it. It's I just liked it. What more is there to say, really? So yeah, that was the unexpected journey, and also of course you get the first and only appearance of Gollum in the Hobbit trilogy. And it's really cool to see kind of his backstory, how he became to be what he's like in the Rings trilogy, and you can really become sympathetic to the character when you see kind of how, like, it's a really good scene with Bilbo where he's wearing the ring, and he's kind of trying to get away from him, and he gets his sword out, he's just about to kill him, and he just sees him. And then just Gollum starts to cry. It's really, really well done, I thought. I actually teared up at that bit as well. But I just really liked it. Like I say, great action. And that's all you really want, really. Yeah, and a good story. So yeah, that was an unexpected journey. So join me next as we witness the Desolation of Smaug. So it is now late Monday afternoon. Yesterday I watched the Desolation of Smaug extended version. And to be fair, I think I liked this extended version better than the first one. Just because it had more kind of new stuff in it. There was less kind of extended stuff, more kind of actual brand new scenes. Including a scene that I thought was pretty funny near the beginning with Bjorn. And also there was a really, really cool scene where Gandalf finds, Thrain, Thorin Oakenshield's father. And it's really cool though, because I was watching it, I was thinking, well, I know this character wasn't in the kind of the theatrical version, but I kind of noticed that some scenes that had him in it were, and what I found out, which was really quite interesting, is that it's exactly the same footage, just in the theatrical version they painted him out, so it's kind of the same stuff, but it's like an extra kind of bit. Basically, they just cut him out of it. I don't know whether, or maybe in the extended version they actually put him in. I'm not quite sure which way around they did it. Either it probably is they kind of, I don't know, they probably took him out, or maybe put him in, because I know with the extended version they do kind of start from scratch. And to be fair, the new scenes were pretty seamlessly integrated into the film. This one was just a few minutes longer than the first one. It was 3 hours 6 minutes, I believe. Although, like, at least 6 minutes of those were credits, so you can't really count that, really. But yeah, I do like this one. I love these scenes with Smaug, obviously. Now I do know that it does deviate from the novels quite a bit, and of course they got that stupid romantic thing with Toriel and was it Killy? Again, why is it needed? She's not even in the book. She's completely fabricated for the film, and I don't know why. I know why she's in it, but I don't know why they have to have that stupid bloody love story thing. It's not needed whatsoever. I just don't understand why it's in. I mean, fair enough, keep it in the extended, but take it out of the theatrical, really. It's not needed whatsoever. It really is pointless, because nobody likes it, and she wasn't even in the books. There's no reason to have her in it at all. Of course, you get the return of Legolas as well. Well, kind of not really the return, because it's in the past, but you know what I mean. Kind of the return / first meeting of Legolas. And I really like the kind of the barrel scene. But yeah, talk of things not needing to be in it. I think Razor Review mentioned this a while ago as well. that when they so I'll put it down in the scene with the kind of the barrel stuff. There's like it's all like filmed really well. The CGI is great. Again, wet to digital, really good kind of special effects. And then there's like this crappy kind of GoPro footage in there that's kind of completely. It looks completely different. I mean, the quality of kind of that stuff is like really noticeably different than the other stuff, and it's not needed. But other than that, I thought it was a very good extended version. I really like that scene with Thrain in it as well. I won't spoil it, but something happens to him. But again, I won't spoil it. I'll give you a clue. It's to do with Sauron anyway. aka the Necromancer, whatever you want to call him, the same thing basically. But yeah, I like this one a little bit better than the first one, like I said. And yep, so that is Desolation of Smaug extended version. And now I'm going to be moving on to the extended version of Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies, which just came out today. I will give you a word of warning that if you are going to buy this today, be very careful when you take the J card off, because obviously it's glued on. Again, why they need to do that anyway, I don't know. And then when I took the glue off, that happened, which was very annoying. And also a little bit of the paint on the right end of the extended edition is also came off with the glue, which I'm very annoyed about, but I don't think I can actually take it back because they'll probably say it was my fault anyway. Of course, very worth. Actually, it's kind of funny because people were kind of noting the fact that that this is instead of a 12, it's a 15, because the extended version does have a bit more violence in it. Where although this one is a 15 because of the special features, but if you look inside the inside the the case, the movie, if I can get it out, the movie is only a 12, so I don't quite get what the difference is, because from what I've heard, like the new footage is quite violent. So why would they keep it a 12? I'm not quite sure. And also, what I'm going to know about these cases, who invented these cases? They are shit. First of all, it's not quite noticeable in this one, but in I think Unexpected Journey, the little, the push things do not do anything. There's no reason for them to be there. They don't do anything. But also, it's pretty cool. The movie in 2D is on one disc, whereas the 3D version is on 2 discs. Of course, even on the 2D edition of the Rings trilogy, the Blu-rays are they have to swap the Blu-rays out, which I'm not looking forward to. But anyway, but yeah. So let's check out the last of the Hobbit trilogy, and let's witness the Battle of the Five Armies. Yeah, so I just finished watching The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, the extended edition. Now I do usually do these kind of afterthoughts the next day, but seeing as it's the final in the Hobbit trilogy, I thought I'd give my thoughts on it straight away. So I do apologise for the very bad lighting, but there you go. But I wanted to do this while it's fresh in my mind. So yeah, that was Hobbit, again you can't really see that, but the Battle of the Five Armies extended version. So yeah, might be my favourite extended version, obviously so far, because I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings ones. I really like this one. It's easier to it's more obvious which are the kind of are the added bits and the extended bits more than I think any of the others. Most of it does add a lot to the film. Some of it does, I won't say detract from it, but it's stuff that obviously was taken out for a good reason, and there's like a scene that's played like straight for comedy that honestly seems like they put it like they kind of put it back in the film in the wrong place. I don't know whether maybe they actually did do, but it just felt kind of out of place. But there's also a really cool scene which I think is probably why it is the film was an R rating, and again I don't know why the disc says a 12. I don't know what the deal is, but there is a scene which would push it up to the kind of the next rating of there's a really cool scene in a war chariot where, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because you really have to see it to believe it, but it's really cool, I thought. So some added stuff here and there, again nothing that kind of detracts from the film, but most of it I mean, obviously it was obvious why it was taken out, but there's also a really cool, I don't know how much of it is it, how extended it is, but a little, not really a battle, but a little, was a battle of power, like a power battle between Galadriel and Sauron, which I thought was really cool. It did look a bit, the effects did look a bit kind of different to the rest of the film, but that's the only kind of negative I could say about that. I'm going to put that back. It's actually quite heavy, to be fair. Again, like I said, if you take the jerk card off, be very, very careful. It's now, I wouldn't say ruined. I can maybe like fill it in with a bit of pen or something. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so I really liked it. I think I actually liked it more than when I saw it at the cinema, because I mean, I do agree that to some extent it is the weakest of the Hobbit trilogy. It just, even though it is kind of like the end of the trilogy, it doesn't really feel like the impact was there. I mean, there's a couple of like deaths which I'm not going to spoil, which actually I did actually tear up near the end of it actually. But yeah, the acting's great. Again, Martin Freeman, really good as Bilbo. The one thing I'd say about this film is they've got the casting really, really well done. Quite a lot of the dwarves are Kiwis or Australians, and then of course you got Martin Freeman, which is British. Luke Evans playing Bard is, I think, Scottish. I think, well, he's from Britain anyway. But yeah, really got the kind of the cast down to a T. Now, the other bone of contention between from people I've seen is the inclusion of Billy Connolly's character, and if I mean, maybe it's just me, but I mean, I saw like some people saying, I think it was Blu-ray.com forums saying that wondering whether he was all CGI or kind of some CGI, some kind of practical effects. But to me, he actually did look all CGI. Whether he was, I'm not again quite sure. But I was thinking maybe kind of like that, like his face was him, and then kind of, I don't know, like when like the beard moves or whatever was kind of was CG. I'm not quite sure, but it looked a little bit off. Again, nothing to kind of distract me, but something that I know will distract quite a lot of people. Of course, mainly people who thought he was all CG, but I do think he is, because when you look at him, it doesn't look quite real. Again, it's not a bad point, but it's just something that kind of stuck out to me a little bit. But again, really enjoyed it. Of course, starts off with the well, yeah, I'm just gonna say, so it'll be spoilers anyway. The battle and the death of Smaug, which actually gets wrapped up in like the first 20 minutes, which is kind of strange. But again, really, I love the really cool scenes though. Again, like I said, the battle with Smaug is really cool. Battle of the Five Armies looks really good as well. And also I was trying to kind of work out what the five armies were. I know it was the dwarves, the orcs, the elves, but what were the other two? I think there was like another army of orcs, and then I don't know what the other one was. Was it the really big guys with the kind of the fligging rocks? I'm not quite sure. Or they part of the orcs? It was kind of confusing to me anyway. If anyone can kind of you know, tell me kind of what the other army was. But yeah, apart from that, I really enjoyed it. Again, the kind of the whole Toriel kind of love thing with Killy again just didn't really work, and there's like the payoff didn't really have the effect that it should have done. But apart from that, like I said, it's really it gets down to the nitty-gritty pretty much straight away. But yeah, the extended stuff really fun. So again, only one or two scenes weren't needed, but the other stuff really was good. Again, seamless integration, I will say that. But that's about it. What more can I say? Apart from I actually enjoyed this trilogy. But yeah, I know it's more, well, no, it's more tailored towards younger people, I think. Just think the Rings trilogy is a lot more darker. But I think though, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually seen the Rings trilogy since I think I watched like the first like 20 minutes of the first one on DVD like years ago, but apart from that I hadn't actually seen any of even the theatrical versions after. I'd never seen them till after, no, hadn't seen them since I saw them at the cinema, so that was quite a lot of years ago, to be fair. So yeah, I might be wrong about that, but it does seem this was a little bit lighter. It does have dark moments in it, but it's a lot lighter than the next trilogy. And speaking of the next trilogy, let's watch the next trilogy. And now we begin the nitty-gritty of this marathon. We will be kicking off the Lord of the Rings trilogy with, strangely enough, the first film in the trilogy, which is The Fellowship of the Ring. Now, first thing I noticed was the fact that on the back it says feature running time 228 minutes. And I thought to myself, is that right? Because of course the Hobbit films were like 180, 185, and I was thinking, are these films like that much longer than the Hobbit films? But yeah, I worked it out. I stick disc 1 in and disc 2 in, saw how long they were, put the timers together, and indeed the film itself is 228 minutes. So the shortest of the Lord of the Rings trilogy is nearly 4 hours. Think of that. Anyway, I've said I'd do it, and goddamn, I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch the whole thing. Whether kind of straight through, I'm not sure. I might have a little break in between. I don't know. The other thing I noticed is that the first disc was it 1 hour and 3/4, whereas the second disc is just over 2 hours. So why they kind of didn't have it go half and half, I'm not quite sure. But the fact that you have to kind of swap discs anyway is a bit disappointing. But of course, they had to get it on, in kind of the high quality onto the Blu-ray disc. So they had to do kind of 2 discs. Obviously with the Hobbit ones, because they're only just over 3 hours, they could fit onto 1 disc. But this, it has to be 2, which is a bit unfortunate. But them's the breaks, I suppose. And also another thing I noticed that is that the special features discs are only DVD, which again is a little bit unfortunate. But again, there you go. But yeah, really looking forward to checking this one out. And yeah, so let's begin the Lord of the Rings trilogy with The Fellowship of the Ring. So it's now Wednesday. Last night I watched the first in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Fellowship of the Ring extended version, obviously. And yeah, really enjoyed this one. I remember enjoying it a lot when I saw it at the cinema, when it first came out. Like I mentioned a couple of times before, I haven't seen even the theatrical version since I saw them at the cinema. Just even from the kind of the opening scene, you can tell this is a lot more darker than the Hobbit trilogy. Clearly, it kind of deals with kind of like evil and kind of evil rings. But yeah, really just kind of like the history and kind of the, let's face it, imagined folklore kind of to do with Middle Earth is so interesting. The whole thing was Sauron and the ring, and Isildur or Isildur. I can't remember exactly what his name is. But yeah, that whole kind of thing, and then kind of Bilbo finding the ring, and then kind of the stuff with in kind of the Hobbit movies, what happens, and the whole thing. Then it turns into this, and it's like the whole kind of travelling to Mount Doom to destroy the ring that the Dark Master is trying to get his greasy hands on. But yeah, really interesting stuff. It's just great characters. Of course, you have the return / first appearance of Gandalf, and then you get the death of Gandalf in the first film, which is, I mean, if you haven't read the books, it's quite shocking, kind of to see that. Obviously, kind of if you've seen the book, you know kind of what's going to happen next. It's not, it's every cloud and all that stuff. But yeah, yeah, there are a few kind of niggles I have with it. I think for the first, like, before they get to Rivendell, I wasn't quite as interested. Basically, I wasn't as interested before kind of the Fellowship came together. And then kind of the story really kind of kick-started for me. I did like it, but I just felt that the plot needed to kind of get kicking a little bit faster. I didn't really quite understand why Frodo was picked to do this thing, and I still don't know quite why he decided that he was the one to go to destroy the ring. But apart from that, I love the little a couple of little links to the kind of the Hobbit movies / books. Of course, there is a little bit of kind of creative liberties taken with how Bilbo found the ring. Of course, the scene in this film is a little bit different to what happened in The Hobbit. It's the same basic thing, but kind of the scene itself where it actually finds it is a little bit different. And also, of course, got Ian Holm to kind of play his younger self, whereas obviously if they made The Hobbit, Martin Freeman would have done the flashback. Also, a little reference to that as well, like when they're travelling to Rivendell, they come across the trolls that were in the first Hobbit movie that Gandalf turned stone, which I thought was a really nice kind of little reference. I really liked. So you could tell, I don't think they decided they were going to make a film of kind of the Hobbit books, but they might have had some idea, I'm not quite sure. But the fact that they're completely different trilogies, yet there are links back to them, I thought was really pretty clever. Brilliant directed. Of course, the kind of the CGI special effects were kind of like revolutionary for the time. Now it does look not dated, but you can see kind of some of the joins. I do like the fact that a lot more of it was kind of practical effects, whereas in The Hobbit it was kind of a lot of it was CGI. But I love the kind of the practical effects. The acting, brilliant. The characters, there's a couple of the characters I weren't quite as interested in as some of the others. Obviously, kind of Boromir and Aragorn was kind of the more kind of interesting characters. Where kind of Merry and Pippin were just kind of a little bit annoying, but they kind of proved the worth kind of towards the end of the film. Of course, Frodo nearly died twice, which is quite interesting in like the first couple of hours. The other thing that I did notice as well is the fact that even though it is classed as 228 minutes, I think about at least over 25 minutes of that is credits. That is it, basically. So I mean, it's still kind of 3 hours 20 minutes, but it's not quite as long as I thought it was going to be. I remember when kind of Sam and Frodo get to kind of the Sea Mordor, I was thinking, well, it's about 20 minutes more of this, and then it just ended, and I was like, what, is that really it? But again, for some reason they have this kind of the credits of kind of like the Lord of the Rings fan club or something. So it's literally nearly half an hour of credits, and that was it. Obviously, I skipped most of that stuff. So even so, if you think so, yes, so it is still 3 hours 20 minutes, but it's not near as long as I thought it was going to be. Kind of the actual film. But again, apart from that, really enjoyed it, and yeah, looking forward to checking out the next in the story, which is The Two Towers. So, here we are. The last day of my Middle-earth Odyssey is upon me. It is now Thursday. Today I'll be watching the final extended version of the final film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Return of the King. But first of all, before we get to that, yesterday I watched The Two Towers, and I loved it. Liked it a lot more than the first film. Got a lot more of Gollum, which is actually my favourite character now, just because of the fact that he's the most sympathetic character I've come across so far. I love his backstory. You don't know all of it yet, but you know that he used to be a person, and then the ring corrupted him. He used to be called Smeagol, obviously, and kind of the ring corrupted him, and he became a Gollum. I just love his kind of just his character. I mean, it's brilliant that a character can get kind of this emotional response out of me that doesn't exist. You know, he doesn't physically exist. Of course, what was the kind of the infancy stages of kind of motion capture, kind of kicked off with Andy Serkis as Gollum. I mean, if kind of special effects back then were that good, it's gotten better over time with the kind of the recent kind of Planet of the Apes films, King Kong, all the kind of great mocap stuff. Very much, what's the word? Not an ambassador, but he kick-started the whole mocap thing. If it wasn't for Andy Serkis, films could be very different nowadays. But yeah, I love his character. With Extended Edition, you get a lot more. You get more kind of backstory to some of the characters than you do in any of the other films. Of course, you get the kind of the backstory of Faramir, Boromir's brother, and how he kind of became kind of embittered person kind of against his father. But yeah, lads, I don't know if any of that was in the theatrical, but a lot of it, the extended stuff, did actually bring some kind of character kind of stuff. Sorry, just ignore that, just my dog scratching. So really loud. But yes, some really good kind of backstory stuff, whereas in the other films, kind of quite a lot of it was just to have more scenes, but these kind of extra scenes actually brought more to the kind of I understood the characters more, which I really liked. Now, I don't know if Boromir was in the second film at all in the theatrical versions, but he's in flashbacks for the extended stuff. But yeah, really liked it. Of course, we get the infamous Battle of the Helm's Deep, brilliantly directed. It kind of scenes like that kind of make you appreciate how much work actually went into these films. I mean, you get all these kind of people dressed as orcs. I believe I think at least like 80% of it, 80-90% of it wasn't CGI. It was like real kind of practical effects. That's the word I was going for. Kind of all these orcs, kind of like really good teeth, really good kind of like face, well, not really face paint, kind of like face stuff. I don't really know what to call it, but some really good practical stuff. None of the shaky cam rubbish that you get nowadays. Just good, solid action. You know what's going on. Some of the time the plot does get a little bit confusing at times, especially in the extended one, because there's so much more kind of content to kind of get your head around. But it's pretty simple so far, which I've kind of liked. It's just kind of the odd time there's too many characters at once, and you kind of don't quite know how. Like stuff with like Saruman, I don't quite know how he kind of comes into kind of some of the other characters. Because some of the extended stuff is kind of just like fun stuff, like with stuff with Merry and Pippin, which I really liked. The Ents look fantastic because what you call it, like the big walking, talking trees. There's a really cool scene of kind of the trees having this little like meeting thing, which I thought was really, really funny, but also really, really kind of good to the story as well. Kind of character development and stuff like that. Really like it's kind of weird how I'm kind of connecting more to like the things that don't exist to the actual kind of the actors. I'm not quite sure why that is, but there you go. I suppose maybe you can't get some of the kind of the facial expressions on real people that you can kind of in CGI stuff. But I love all that kind of stuff. Again, some of it does look, I wouldn't say dated, but it does look a little bit not kind of perfect, like the beginning of the Balrog fight with Gandalf. You can see kind of like some of like the joins. You can like see that how the Balrog is like completely different. It's like you can see like the outline of Gandalf and stuff like that. Of course, we have the return of Gandalf after dying in the first film. It's great to see him back as Gandalf the White. Yeah, some really interesting characters. Some not so much, but overall, I really like the Two Towers extended version, and I would recommend it. I mean, I like the theatrical version as well. But more of the added stuff. Again, you get some more kind of backstory with Aragorn as well, which I really liked. And so yeah, highly recommend checking this one out. If you don't check any of the others out, although why would you not when you have it? Anyway, but yeah, this is probably my favourite. It's definitely my favourite film of the Rings trilogy. Maybe of the whole thing. I'm not quite sure yet. Obviously, I haven't watched the last one yet. But let's do that right now. So yeah. Let's go on to the final film, the Return of the King. So that's it. That's the end. That's the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Ended with Return of the King. Far and away the best Lord of the Rings film. Just the kind of emotion that goes with it. I loved the extended stuff in this version as well. It's a great scene. It comes back to just how good kind of the effects are. There's a really good scene on the outside of Minas Tirith where the mouth of Sauron is this really kind of like horrific looking guy, has like his massive helmet on with like, and it's got like on the edge of the mouth has like the dark writing on it. and like his mouth is like really scarred and like cut open and stuff. I mean, it looked absolutely brilliant, only in the theatrical version as well. The other thing I did notice, I was kind of reading up on it, is kind of there's a scene with the Sauron kind of near the beginning of the film that wasn't in the theatrical version, which something happens to him. And I was thinking to myself, well, how do they explain where he's gone in the theatrical version? I'm not quite sure how that worked out. But yeah, again, it's got some great stuff with Gollum and Smeagol, and of course the actual kind of destroying of the ring in Mount Doom. Again, some really good acting. Sean Astin, one of the standouts for me. Loved Andy Serkis's Gollum. Again, like I said before, really kind of shows the not quite the infant stages, but I think maybe like the teenage stages of kind of like of the mocap stuff. But yeah, I've also listened to some of the commentary, and he sounds really kind of passionate about the kind of the mocap stuff, and you can tell he's like basically he's kind of like the ambassador for mocap stuff. He's done a lot of stuff with it. Again, like I mentioned, with the kind of Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes films, King Kong, stuff like that. Yeah, again, sometimes it does get a little bit confusing. Again, it's like I didn't understand that Sauron used I can't remember what his name is, but guy who Bernard Hill plays him, the kind of the king of Rohan. I was thinking, well, I didn't actually understand that he was using him till I kind of mentioned it before, and kind of stuff like that. But just little nitpicky things. Maybe I'm just thinking too much into it. I don't know. But yeah, definitely the best extended version, and definitely the best film. Wraps the story up very, very nicely. It's about like half an hour of just kind of like having a breather near the end of the film, which I really liked. And you kind of need that in real life as well as the characters do, because you're just taken on this like incredible ride of great effects, just great story, great kind of folklore history behind this thing. Obviously, clearly have to give credit to Tolkien for writing the books in the first place. But yeah, it's a real. I think people who read the books were very fond of the films. I think it was a very good adaptation of the books. There's also one thing I was thinking while I was watching it, is that I was thinking this kind of stuff probably make quite a good kind of TV show as well. I was thinking maybe kind of Game of Thrones has that similar kind of feel to it, with the kind of like the history and stuff like that. But I was thinking it'd make a pretty good TV show. Whether I'll ever do that, I'm not sure. Again, I don't think these films will ever get remade in my lifetime, at least. But maybe. But will they need to be? I don't know. I don't know. And should they be? I don't think so, really. These are kind of like the definitive versions of the books and the films as well. I honestly don't think you can get any better than this. So yeah, Return of the King, like 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. I understand why it won all the Oscars. I don't know kind of the other 2 films, how many Oscars they won, if any. But yeah, they absolutely deserve. I think it was like director, best film, best special effects, I was guessing. But yeah, really, really good. I've absolutely loved revisiting these films. And yeah, very much enjoyed it. So yeah, go a very, very quick recap. So on Saturday, I started with the Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. A good film. I like the extended stuff in it. Standout scenes for me were the stone golem, well, not fight, but when they're going through these mountains, kind of the mountains come alive. I love that scene. I like the fact that it kind of took a breather at the beginning of it, kind of showed the funner side. Then we went on with the Desolation of Smaug. Again, great special effects, great acting. The cast, again, like I mentioned, got really, really good actors to, the actors fitted the role very, very well. Very, very good to pick Martin Freeman to play Bilbo, and of course Richard Armitage. Also kind of casting out of left field as well, I mean, you wouldn't kind of like think they would pick Martin Freeman to play Bilbo, but they did, and it worked out perfectly. Yeah, and also but something about the first, obviously like nitpicky things about the first film is why couldn't the Eagles have like flown them all the way to the Lonely Mountain? I still don't know. I don't quite know why. Obviously, there wouldn't be any story, but it'd be much easier to just like drop them off on the top of this like small mountain. It's like just take them all the way. I don't know what the point of that stuff is. But obviously, like I said, there wouldn't be any other stuff. Again, like I said, Desolation, Smaug, great. The kind of the playoff between Smaug and Bilbo, really well done. Again, special effects, brilliant. Kind of the voice acting as well. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Smaug. I'm guessing with quite a lot of kind of voice altering software, I'm guessing. But yeah, I love the dwarves as well. Got funny bits in there as well. But yeah, Desolation Smaug really gets to this more serious. Now, I mentioned before the Hobbit trilogy. The Hobbit trilogy, I enjoyed that a little bit more, but I do think the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the best trilogy. I don't know, it's just the best put together. I think The Hobbit relied a little bit too much on CG, not enough practical effects. Yeah, great story as well. Then we got to what's it called? Oh yeah, the Battle of the Five Armies. Again, like that film. I think the extended stuff was the best in that film than the other two. Again, I love the kind of the war chariot stuff. Was really well done. I kind of like the kind of the extra violence, extra gore and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, the Hobbit trilogy, like I said, it's more geared towards younger people, I think, whereas Lord of the Rings trilogy is more for adults, I think. Like I said, I just think I enjoyed the Hobbit trilogy more because there's more to actually enjoy. There was more light-hearted stuff. There was the serious stuff as well, but the light-hearted stuff really got the balance. They got the balance very well done. Yep. Then we got to the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Again, kickstarted the whole, more or less kickstarted the whole kind of fantasy genre in film. At least kind of the modern fantasy genre, at least in modern cinema, I think. Again, I don't want to ramble too much, but yeah, I like the first one. Of course, a really pretty kick-ass death of Boromir. Probably one of the standout scenes, at least in the first film, maybe the trilogy as a whole. And then we got to the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. Again, like this one, bit more. I like it advanced the story a lot more. Obviously, it needed to because it was the film. Of course, with the fact that the other thing that's quite interesting is the fact that the Lord of the Rings trilogy needs to be that long or needs to be that comprehensive because each film is based on each book. But with the Hobbit is one book, but it was kind of split between three films. Again, I can think that kind of affects the story. I think not the story itself, but kind of the way that the story is told. I think kind of not lets it down, but kind of you know what I'm trying to say. I think they stretched it out a little bit too much, I think, and a lot of people did think as well. I mean, they were originally going to do it as one film, but then split it into three. Well, yeah, to get more money, fair enough, I suppose. But they did the work for the money. I think it did look good. Like I said, just a little bit too much reliant on kind of CG, kind of special effects. But Lord of the Rings trilogy is the better made trilogy, I think. I just like the Hobbit one that little bit more. Yeah, I'm just starting to ramble now, so I'm not going to ramble for too much longer, I promise. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It might be in 2 parts, I haven't decided yet. But yeah, today is Thursday, and I started on Saturday. So that's 6 movies within a week. Yeah, obviously I watched kind of one a day. So I was actually going to watch the Return of the King as well last night, but I thought I'd wait till today to do it. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the time I've spent in Middle-earth. I absolutely love it. I honestly feel like just going back to the beginning and starting again, probably with the theatrical versions. I did like the extended versions, but I know they are a little bit too long. They're not for the theatrical versions that I'm sorry. The extended versions are not for the kind of the casual viewer. You really need to kind of sit down, concentrate, just kind of like bask in the glory of Peter Jackson, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Again, really kind of revolutionised kind of special effects and motion capture and stuff. Again, character of Gollum is my absolute favourite character in the Rings trilogy, and probably the kind of the franchise as a whole. I just think he has like a great backstory. Probably one of the better. Probably one of the best opening scenes of a film I've seen, maybe ever. I love kind of got the history of Smaug and how he came into possession of the ring, and how it corrupted him as well, and how he's very manipulative. A lot of the characters are so manipulative, with kind of like Frodo and Sam kind of pitting them against each other, and then kind of trying to kill Frodo to get the ring back. Then he gets the ring back, and then he's like dancing around. Then he dies in Mount Doom with the ring, which I really liked. Fitting end to a very interesting character, if not a bit. I don't know. He's not a bit off, but he's a bit not a very nice thing. But you kind of understand his plight to a point. You know, he's not the easiest character to like, but you're not really meant to like him. But I kind of did. But he was the most interesting character anyway. But yeah, I honestly feel like going back to the beginning and watching the Hobbit trilogy again, and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy after that. Whether I will anytime soon, I don't know. But I've loved kind of being a part of, because that's what it is kind of. It's like you're being a part of this world, this just kind of this world. I really enjoyed it. If you want to do it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think even the most die-hard Middle-earth fan would struggle, and I think it's actually like physically impossible to watch all 6 films in one, at least all 6 extended films in one day. I literally don't think there's enough hours in the day, but if you want to do that, fair play to you. If you want to do like a big video series, you might want to do that. Of course, next year being the 15th anniversary of the first film, maybe we might get a re-release, maybe a 3D re-release, maybe a new box set. I honestly think that in the next few years we'll get like a big kind of like the Harry Potter Wizards collection, but kind of Middle-earth. I think we'll probably get one of those in the next few years. Whether it will, I don't know. But and if they do, I might buy that. You never know. You never know what the future may hold for this franchise. And even like 10, 20 years down the line, they may re-release it in numerous kind of different editions. They'll probably in like 30 years, there'll be like a thing, like some kind of technology where you can actually like be in the scenes with the characters. I doubt that would ever happen, but you never know. At least not in my lifetime. In the next like 30, 40 years, hopefully, if I live that long enough. But yeah, like I said, thoroughly enjoyed this, spending the time really kind of re-watching and not evaluating, but kind of, you know what I mean. Again, I'm starting to ramble, so I do apologise. I won't go for too much longer. But yeah, enjoyed it, loved it. We'll do it again in a few years, maybe. I mean, it's taken me like 10 years to watch Lord of the Rings trilogy again, so whether I ever will, I don't know. But hopefully I will do. Yeah, that is about it for this video. So again, I do apologise if it's a bit too long. If it is too long, I will split it into 2 parts, but if it's alright, I'll kind of leave it. But I have a feeling it will be. But yeah, because again, I do tend to ramble. So that'll do for this video. So join me in the next one. What that will be, I'm not quite sure. Again, it'll probably be beginning of next year, my top 20 films of 2015. Still quite a few that I need to see in 2015, so when that will happen I don't know, but yeah, that'll do for this video. So depth though. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this, at least semi-enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.